Okay, so it's 7th of September 2021, 12:09, 12:10 Israel time. This is sort of continuing the on and off the broadcasting of well, what started for me during the human design experiment on 11th of July 2015, where I heard of my strategy G and inner authority, in English to begin with, and where the mind was holding, sort of, I call it holding on to something. It was not in the relation necessarily to the holding on of the spleen, as it's considered a defined spleen. And I heard of this aspect of, I saw this chart beginning under this, not through the wheel. I'm gonna see where it takes me to the wheel in a moment, around marking something through the, where human design, through this aspect of giving the mind, the ears something to listen, the eyes something to see. In simply, you are a generator. So you have an enveloping aura, and life comes to you. And while at least you talk about life and you pretend to shut up, just see what actually you are talking about doing and what you want to do, and how you ask about it, and how you're messed up in the mental realm and emotionally. See what comes, and as you see what comes to you, just see if you can go with this simple formula of responding. Where it started with the, however it's written with the all this, instead of going in English, yes, no, even, and later I'll go to the I don't know. So simply this green light that, okay, it's not what my mind planned, like, okay, I'm talking to people around me and I want to do this and I want to do that. All these basics which I've been speaking about and watching with myself and people who came to me, and I just share, look, I discovered this amazing knowledge, and it's this experience, and my mind was hooked up to that, and this stop sign of no, and it took several months, and all this in between stoplight where I don't know, or there is silence, and when I'm talking to people and it's regarding movement and where I shall go, and the mind makes its plans and going to all of this information, to all the openness, and what seemingly I whether I was initiating it or responding to go and learn things, and then seeing if if my sacral responding and initiating all the questioning. Can you ask me about the questions, and that thing that is gets the mind distracted on something, like even now, where where it seems there is energy to do something, and it's not clear for the mind what to do with it. But the mind is already this thing inside of us that kind of already watches that even if it's, however it is tagged, disturbing, impatient, unease, itching, exciting, flowing, however the mind continues to tag it, yeah, it still sees that I'm doing something. Yeah. And back then it was this mechanism of okay, let's see that this aspect of can you keep your mouth shut, which of course mostly I kept on talking, but I kept watching the times between I opened my mouth and the next and what I was talking, and if people wanted even to hear and what I was actually doing, which I kind of, let's say, whether pretended or whether it happened for real, that I shut the fuck up. At least about what's, it's kind of hooking up the mind on, okay, so I'm responding, and later on, I kind of started noticing all these moments in between, where even if I respond, it took me several months, even I respond with a green light, yeah, or with a, let's say, red light, it didn't matter anymore. The mind kept on tagging the visual and the acoustic mind. Yeah, I can hear the stories in my head. Sometimes I can map them clearly. And all the in-between aspects, this or the silence, they turn at a certain point to, I don't know, where the mind, at least since it so much wants to control or yearns to control the plus and the minus, yeah, whether it's a positive experience or a negative, whether it's logical or illogical, whether it's empowering or disempowering, it wants to, according to what it is attracted, to either accept it or reject it. And in between, things are constantly happening. And along with this kind of recording, it was kind of my journal, as some part of me is inclined to keep talking. And with all this energy, so it kind of started with, okay, I'll kind of bite my tongue, my nails, because it was, as I mentioned, and for people who seem to enter to human designer just in this beginning of the experiment, it's kind of biting your nails, yeah, or your tongue or your lips or something kind of that, what I called to impatiently wait. Impatiently wait. Yeah. Where it's kind of pretending, it's all sort of continuing from the VIP of the asana, the vipassana, where you find yourself sitting in the VIP asana, vipassana, 10 days, and it's kind of still, it feels like the mind is telling me to sit 10 hours a day in this course, and it's kind of, okay, you wait, but there is so much energy, so you watch all of this movement, and now instead of sitting in a course of VIP asana, vipassana, it's just during the daily life and watching the movement where even the mind still tags it if I'm calm or I'm nervous, and it prefers one over the other. If I'm angry, or at peace, even if it's just frustrated, or satisfied. It really doesn't matter anymore in a way. And I keep finding that I'm doing certain things and I'm watching myself doing these certain things. And that's it. That's kind of the will. And that the challenging thing for the mind with its motivations, agendas, whether it may be the aligned motivation of, okay, I'm a personality motivated by fear, both perspective and both motivation itself, for those who go into the rave psychology aspect. The mind is still kind of filtering this. What do I do with this life? Is it just watching? Or again, in everyone's case, how can I get excited of simply watching? How can I get excited of simply watching the itching or the itching? Yeah. This wheel, these things that are happening. And same as it went with Vipassana, that it was just, okay, instead of observing the wheel and your decision making around that wheel, whether it goes this way or that way, you sit down and you observe the sensation and that's it. Or with the yoga or whatever. That the relative, how I observe it, restlessness of the mind, and that it is still here. Yeah. And whether I continue to put it into stories or actions that are happening, like now I'm recording something and that after this period of the hearing about responding and going through this kind of phase where my mind identified with, okay, I'm responding to life and seeing where it brought me and measuring it from July from 2015 up to 2021. Whatever the measurement, the story, whatever is the case for everyone individually, whether it's from 2012 until 2015 and further on with Vipassana. Whether it was, again, whether it was from 2006 to 2012 with measuring it through the practice of yoga, whether it was ongoing from 2012 maybe until 2015 with the main focus through maybe yoga, maybe through the VIP of the asana, and later on came this aspect that is still here, watching through a lens of the field of responding and initiating. Whether it's doing and watching. And whether it's because the system is telling me that there is insatiability in the way I identify with life. So there's constant pressure, a healthy pressure, or an unhealthy pressure, or unhealthy lack of pressure to the way I observe life. Yeah, this judgment of whatever happening in life as a personality. Yeah, and I keep watching it, whether it tells me that actually my body is just alive in order to simply move and do or be in action for its own health. While telling stories. And stories perhaps about surrender to methods, to people, to whoever I felt supporting my path, whether it was in this path of where it was in yoga or through vipassana, whether it's through human design, all these times where wherever I went, it supported my path. What I call, sometimes I speak about Guruji and Mataji. It seems that for the sake of the story of me being able to be maybe I will call it an active watcher, that I keep filling up sometimes these diaries, whether it's books that I draw in or write, or whether this is sometimes this recording in the tablet or the phone where I make just recording 1 hour or something for myself. Not really teaching anything, not yoga, not human design. I put on this wheel, but it's basically whatever gets me to see that I'm doing something and space is being filled. And it's an active space. Yeah? It's an active space. And sometimes when I meet others, there's the reference through the human design of okay, how it meets, how others meet it and try to pull me through the questions, pull me through the excitements, and the rest of watching it, even through money, through talent, through organizing, and the rest, through conflicts and through caring for them and through extreme caring for the conflict of others around the money while I ask, and so on and so forth. And I keep filling up my diary, and again, I see that, at least through this lens, that I meet people where I'm here to address anxieties of sorts of them. I'm here to get them to appreciate self-love and not self-loathing. If they're open, they attract this with me. Yeah. Again, whether when I watch another one's map, it's okay, just also if you're an open sacral, just don't get caught in my trip of being active and available, or pressuring, or healthy in my own way, in my own unique way that's related to all these aspects of support, sharing, and self-empowerment and empowerment. Just watch what I'm doing to you as well. I'm watching what it does to me. Or proving, or whatever the case may be, and where we're attracting and repulsing, or if you just don't mess up with the mind. Don't try to be like me if you're an open mind. Whatever the case may be. And that sense, that period where it still follows me. But it started in between the sense, what in the myth I keep telling to myself, making up my own story or seeing it made up through me. July 2016, so about September where perhaps prior to that, not clear. I walked next to a bakery in Israel, and all this strategy in inner authority and outer authority, because eventually your strategy in inner authority brings you to your outer authority, to how you identify with life as a personality, and how eventually this flows to your throat. So your throat can speak your open or defined mind, or whatever the voices may be. So how you identify with life as a personality, you can bring out. Mine is in the maturing process, not yet. I'm in my so-called Saturn return period, cycle in that, 7 years into that. Born 1984. And this diary, although this seems like, because the questions sometimes go, so this next thing will go on YouTube, will go on, you'll send it to someone you're in contact, and sometimes I do, sometimes I delete it. It's just my own journey. And I keep being fascinated. I keep seeing how fascinated I am by my own journey. And if it happens to be that someone in the space and we interact, responding, initiating, invite, how things just move as they are being measured. And that it's just really dumbly profound in how mundane it is day by day. Not resolving anything, not relieving me of anything. Again, because the mind had its expectations. Whatever kind of mind, you have, or it has you. So this thing where somewhere in between I started, I just had this thought of, XIO, this strategy in authority, just very simple. You cover your face, as I sometimes mention to people, this X that helps you defend yourself in the movement, which is actually the strategy, or the I. Just because we can make these things, these details, these stories, this movement, these shapes. And I started laughing about it for myself, kind of talking, and again, strategy in inner authority is so much in the language. It's also not my thing to detail that inside. It just was kind of for me, XIO. It's just that. Strategy inner authority, it was kind of for the strategy, or as I used to write it, because I can, strategy, the inner way, which is inner authority, and your outer authority, which is the outer word meets the outer world, as I used to say. This kind of two authorities, and which one is so-called you identify that is capable of navigating you through life. We can even go to input-output of that. It's kind of, I'm enjoying the story, the realm of the words and what we see and how it manipulates us. And this thing that from 26th of September 2016, the day my father died, Ido, and I was on this trip and I kept telling it, and I probably will keep telling it, that I was on this trip of the yes-no questions. To kind of direct it to the sacral response, this what I later called Om. Uh-huh. Yeah, this uh-huh, green light. No, red light, or the in-between. So people came and asked, how are you? And I kept telling this story of, well, my father died at that time, and people coming to me, and I say, I don't know. And then they next to me, perhaps through my energy, they told kind of a story over that. Anyways, and I kept responding, and again, to all the open questions, I don't know. And there came a myth of this Ido coming inside of me, this my father, which is kind of this, in Hebrew even, I keep telling this story where Ido is the letters in Hebrew. This means no, I know, not no, the movement between language. So this is kind of actually someone who not know. And all this myth around, I call it kind of like this, I don't know meditation, which I told many times, but every time it's different and for different people and in different timings. This I don't know meditation, this thing that is actually was addressed for the pressure of the head, which we are at now, in the transit, the pressure of the head, that if you're patient enough, for example, the 63 and the 61 are now in the transits, so these gates of questions, and if you just wait enough and you pop up with a question in your head, you can just wait for gate 4 to bring the answers, or you can just wait for gate 24 to bring the answers, rational answers, logical answers. Now, if you have the 64 questions, you can wait, because now the moon is bringing the abstract answers. Yeah, 3 kinds. And with all these open questions, these WH questions, so I don't know, was actually addressing them from a place of, hey, still mind, I want to hear my, mind is controlling, I want to hear my sacral answers. But it then showed me a whole world in my openness, and my openness is mainly the open head. Or let's do like this. The open head, the open emotion, so I was nervous about answering, I don't know, and I was nervous that it's not the right answer, because I watched people answering all sorts of questions, answers to that question, like myself, how are you? Good. How are you? Fine. How are you? I didn't sleep well. And all these many changing of types of answers, logical, story-like, abstract, rational, and how again they unfold in the throat. But it wasn't intentionally. It was like I say, my father's, as I call it kind of for the myth, my father's spirit, not really, but my father's spirit went into that, and I started answering. In Hebrew it was אני לא יודע, יודע. Ido is my father's name. Now I make this recording in English, and like I've been watching life through the lens of human design, this what I call high definition strategy in inner authority, which translated later to XIO, I added through I don't know meditation, the I don't know, which we are now actually repeating. XIO, I don't know. And each one of you is bringing it or continuing this inside in the world. Yeah? As we are watching through this lens of XIO, I don't know. Because we can. About the mental realm at least. And then how the physical realm, there's also in the physical realm so much I don't know. So much not knowing. Now I don't say, okay, I don't know meditation. And yeah, which is actually just an aspect of, for me, addressing my kind of openness through human design, but then seeing that even if I speak and I sound certain about my stories, I believe in them, I still don't know anything. It's just I'm able to speak like that. And many other things that evolved around that I don't know. And even if I tell something, I still don't know. And it was related to my father, which, for those who are looking through the filter of human design, a reflector, I used to tell kind of this story. My mother is a manifestor, an emotional one. My father is a reflector. My older brother a projector, and me the generator. Yeah, and I'm the only. Me and my father the unemotional, brother and mother the emotional, and so on. I used to do the earlier introduction lectures when I entered human design up until I became an NYD guide and kind of followed something to be certified rather than by life. Being certified and paying money. Yeah, there's no question mark about it anymore. I don't know conquer that, but I paid my way and paved my way up until the whatever it was, $20,000 for the all teachings, all studying. Yeah, because this is how the cross of planning operated in time and space and money until I'm basically certified by life to be bringing whatever I see. And let the rest of the people fight for the bargain. And my reflector father, which, here it's, who died at age 66, so 2 cycles around this Chiron, used to tell me, perhaps based on that or whatever, everybody sees that, okay, until age of 30, he didn't know. He do not know. Which is nice in the language because he do not know. First, prior to the Saturn return. To his Saturn, which was, first 30 years, then later on all this arbitration, arbitration, conflict. And, right? Yeah. That's a story for another time. And then, after age 30, around his Saturn return, and prior to his 50s, he actually started to know. It was some kind of a vague thing of, okay, Ido actually knows. I do know. I do know something. And I perhaps have the expectations that as I grow older, I would arrive to age of 50. This is the Saturn return, and age of 50, I will know. I do know. But actually, he told me that when he arrived around that age, he realized he was a fan of not the itching of the itching, he wasn't familiar with that, but actually with the I Ching of the Tao Te Ching or the Tao. Yeah, Tao Te Ching. This, whatever, how you draw this, yeah, the Tao sign. Which is interesting, related to 11 and so on, but his Bible was the Tao Te Ching, sort of. Which is you don't define, the define is undefinable, and so on and so forth. But he told me so. In the first stage of my life, it was clear to me that he do not know. The first part of my life. So up until 30, or Saturn return. He didn't use these terms. Later on, I took them on and I talked them. The second part of life, the Uranus opposition, so Ido knows something. Ido knows something. And that when he arrived at 50, actually it went back to Ido not know, but with sort of, even though he used to speak with his, it seemed like he was whatever he believed in, whatever he was revealing, interesting to this gate of revelation, and he was an archaeologist, was the period where it was kind of his golden era. This reflector with these voices of the past, but that's for another time to speak. And that actually from this so-called positive, this aspect of the sixth line, especially him with this, well, all this trajectory, but that these pessimistic 31st years, that there is insecurity with not knowing. Yeah. And later there may be the positive aspect of that. Of actually I know, and how the mind is attracted to knowing, and then basically it goes to whatever color I will draw that, but the plus and the minus of not knowing. And the relief of that. And this was one of his teachings to me. Although many times, again, perhaps it seems in the sixth line with its, in the 10th gate, this hypocrisy, do as I say, not as I do, and what to do, he do not know. It seemed like he didn't live up to that. And many aspects of the opening was being certain of direction and proving oneself and avoiding the conflict and certainly not knowing when enough is enough and question and so on. But the basic aspect that he brought to me of these 3 life phases. And he was 2 cycles in that, and within the cross of planning, all these gates were highly dominant, which related to, to work and money and support the family and family as values, even though it seemed like he himself rejected them and still encouraged the individual aspect in everyone. And again, I used to relate it to the 3 phases or the cycle of the camel of the first 30 years, and not the camel and the dog from Human Design, but the camel, the camel and the dog, the camel and the lion. This really related to the Uranus opposition and Saturn and Uranus, but basically this second period of life, and that eventually the child, the Nietzsche's aspect of the three phases. Yeah, whether you say the load of the camel, now you're with your knowing, you're kind of the bear of the camel, and then with the lion, and you think you know, or you believe you know, or you know, or you're certain about that, and then you crash again as a child. to this innocent sixth line. Yeah, this is kind of from Thus Spake Zarathustra. For those who don't know these three aspects of the camel, the lion, and the child, which is actually, if we talk about in human design terms, it's basically this house analogy. You basically have here sort of the camel, and you're in the family, and things go kind of wrong with your whatever you know, or you're under the custody of the parents and whatever authorities, whether they raise you according to your design or not, or they enforce their authority on you. Then you come with the lion, and then eventually, the on the roof stage, and then eventually as a sixth line, you go down as a child, as an innocent being. But it's a modern innocence. It's a modern Buddha. It's not the Buddha that stays aloof and far and detached. It's the Buddha that's in the world, and whatever that will mean in 2027 when the mutation in the sixth line, for those who have kind of heard that. So this is eventually, it's again a bit part of my story, where now, through this last meeting with you innocent projector, this XIO I don't know, and terming it and simply going on with this simplicity. And again, had it been that simple, we wouldn't even go resort to XIO I don't know. But it's clear for us that, okay, we are watching through this filter, where basically this is one aspect of I don't know meditation, and not letting the mind control through the questioning, and it still does. My mind does that. Whether it's through human design, through the XIO, and watching the movements and the interaction of the strategy and the inner way, inner authority, and where eventually the outer authority basically kind of is a byproduct of that. That next to certain people, they attract something out of you, they take out this outer authority, whether you're a manifestor and you initiate that. But basically how you perceive life. Again, recently I'm even talking about it, that you're not necessarily here to speak, but just your outer authority serves for what you perceive as a personality in life, not necessarily expressing it. It's also kind of a prize in the self-reflected consciousness, especially with an open throat, but that's for the observation of everyone. So this is basically kind of sort of timestamps from 11th of July, where I went to my first human design. I bumped, literally, it's a nice story for third line being like me, to bump into human design, where it seemed my mind thought I was going to a permaculture lecture, and 6 years later, now my 7th year in the experiment, where there is this 7-year cycle, around the wheel, and however we divide this, not necessarily I'm good at that, but wherever we'll start it, even if I'll start it here, but this kind of, I tend to skip sometimes, this kind of pizza pie wheel, and Richard Rad made a kind of awakening observation on that. I'm not addressing it now, whether your starting point is on that. And I haven't finished the cycle of I don't know meditation itself, which is kind of 1 year after human design, and it made it clear for me how mind is controlling through questioning, even yes-no questions. And it's on my tongue, and when I get into the habit of things, like everyone, and especially logical people, it's just there. it's just there. And human design, even that, I kind of went into it, and all this yes no question, where I see that often it many times, especially if you're kind of all these sacral sessions, and for me it's kind of a bullshit, that your mind is simply not watching with whatever sense it senses. Yeah. That so you want to resolve this pressure, so you resort to a question and then to kind of an answer. And the question is, I'll even ask you a question that I'm certain of. Are you okay? Would you like to go there? And I would get myself occupied in things that do not matter, simply instead of watching how there is pressure in the decision. Again, it may be a step on the way, and I went through it to say, hey, don't be afraid of all of that, or watch your fear, or whatever your perspective, or whatever the case may be. And all of this where I'm kind of a quarter of mind born, and I walk through this filter, and with the open head, it's clear for me all these realms of the questions. And whenever I get to speak with my kind of mind, this is my brother, that for me it's clear, this realm that I'm getting caught in asking questions, and with my kind of mind, that wherever someone's around me and we have this interaction, I whatever the response is to tell a story, it still kind of rides on top of that at many times, the what to do. All the white kind of spills on top of this speaking voice. And I watch it. It's okay. It is what it is. I watch it through the transits. With certain people, I share how to watch it, what I watch, and then you watch your own way. Yeah. Whether recently, all this with the tribal, we've got this 19, and whenever, I'm not here to be pressured for the tribal resources, but then at times I do, and it's a longer transit with the Saturn, and then I'm watching, maybe I mark it, this kind of, at this date, this will end, and then I see the stories as they move, and it's clear already to me and some people around me, what the questions are doing, and then I see my job is done. Again, it continues. It's not that it's done when I'm dead, I guess, but with my open head. And to see the excitement, especially when you're open in the head and the emotions, then I can bring the experience I experienced, I know within myself, not with my mental realm, but with my being. The excitement of when you answer I don't know to the questions, even if you've got an answer, you can go with your own voice and stay silent, and it's really exciting. I'm still experiencing the nervousness at certain people, especially emotional, when I answer I don't know, and then with some people I share this story, and it's so simple in this life. And at many times I'm stuck in like seemingly nothing's happening, but I watch it, and then sometimes I go on with this recording, and maybe you listen, but at least I listen and I watch it. And my mind still tells me, hey, don't go with these recordings. You are now trying to get somewhere, to do something, because there's still the mind there that tries to control, to dictate what to do. And actually, I don't know. I don't know if I'm really initiating or responding or being invited. It's just kind of a game because we can understand these languages. If I don't understand English or Hebrew, mind want to ask then, put the doubt in it. How can then I get this? I don't know. And I watch it asking that thing. And I sometimes, again, tag it and whatever mind does. Again, this is the version I see, and I'm navigating through this kind of map. this was a little bit again for myself about this XIO I don't know that now moves through 11th of July 2015. It took certain time until Strategy Inner Authority went to declare XIO, which for some people it's kind of too childlike. Let's keep it Strategy Inner Authority. It's clear already to people, because human design. And I don't know meditation. That's so-called started from the day my father died, like the song. The day the music died. And I have, you see now with the I mark it, this. I don't, nothing, not have, not have. It's nice, this, what I call the Nazism of grammar, and I'm enjoying it. It's really the Nazism of patterns. Yeah, so they go kind of together, as I mentioned. And that it's clear for you, it's clear for me that the XIO addresses the decision making in life and when it's also time to speak, and then what you speak, and the I don't know meditation addresses the open questions, and later on also or not later on, together, the yes no questions, because as I was told and I watched it, I identify, we're in this period of the 16 to identify, even if I'm not really identified with all of that. It's the ability to watch, or I'm conditioned to be identified with something specific, especially something that is so detailed. And it gives the security to move towards the future. And it conditions me in this period, and all of us, this way or the other. The dominance of the 16th gate and the 9th gate, to move from this moment to the next, and up to whether it's the story of 2027 and then come 2028 and date of birth, time, so-called the year now, maybe the year to come, and maybe the death. Which is actually says, I don't know, but I'm waiting there. Just be sure of it. And maybe I'm not sure that I'll ever die. So this is sort of my continuing diary to myself. I used to call it, messages from the sleeping phoenix. This cross that I was told I'm born on, and I watched through this filter. And I see really not just human design with this strategy inner authority, which for many people, if they heard and they know about human design, XIO would not say anything. So it's interestingly, nicely to differentiate from them. Some of them take it, but really this, whenever you have individual aspects, or you are that, few people, even if none, go after that. And especially as an integration, as I used to say, this is in Hebrew, integratia, this aleph, an individual. This aleph of the integration, where we're heading towards so-called, because the logic is concerned about it. This 2027 or whatever, the end of human life, whatever the future is, doing its job. And I see this part, I experience, I watch the logical parts within my design. Until the moment where it doesn't matter if it's through the decision making. But I do share with people when they meet me and something disturbs them, I have, well, you see, I went into this Nazi period of, okay, I'll stick with my voices, and I like it. I believe in that. I watch through that. Okay, all this whiteness, very attracting to the mind. I have a memory for you. I have an experience for you. I have a knowing for you. I have something to say. Yeah, this dominance of this 45th gate, which I like with some people. Yeah, we speak the buzz, bzzz, like this red button where, hey, you don't speak your voice, bzzz. Yeah, logic likes that, yeah, kind of, especially the judgment. You're initiating, you're supposed to respond, bzzz. You know, and who laughs from it, like this game, what we talk about. Words, I'm a fan of the words, of how it manipulates me and others. Maybe next recording, I don't know, we'll see. I'll see if I'll make another one referring to all the individual aspects. Maybe in the transits now, and especially this period of the nodes and relating the individual, especially the integration, especially in this time, to the part of I don't know within the XIO. Because I keep telling, and I see this being spoken through me based on my experience, and I watch it moment to moment, alters my story, that the vehicle, the unknown new vehicle, is being built through Uranus, and it will move, especially now in these gates, in Uranus for the coming year. Soon it will come back to retrograde of 24th gate, still individual. Then it will move to other realms, but yeah. Let's see if in next video I will talk about it, and again the nodes which are moving clockwise, which are also empowering this aspect of I don't know, where someone recently I took, and pure a pure logical being, yeah, said in Hebrew, it was kind of, I don't understand, I don't know. And he tries to understand, I don't know, and it undermines literally here the understanding in this 69 movement, or if you just say it like quickly, it's like the 69 movement. Yeah. Or if you go to 1969 movement, where we went to just a couple of years before, to the first line of this. Yeah. And coming the 3420, now 6th line in the nodes, and well, however they'll move, this unknown aspect, this individual aspect that undermines myself, me as well, not the parts that tries to understand, they try to believe and hold on to the story, to the beliefs, because otherwise there's uncertainty in the mind. But it seems like XIO, I don't know, is, at least in my life, is here to stay. And all this myth around my father, Ido Ginton, or actually, you do not know. And it's really one by one, and even how attractive it to what I call relatively boring people. Yeah, logic is boring. My logic judgmental aspects are boring. My story-like sharing aspects are boring. The individual, if it goes with its uniqueness, with its freakiness, is very attractive. It's different and scary. there's only this now. I don't know about tomorrow. The past, okay, already gone. The now is not even the present, and the present is not even the now, because by the time I finish to say present, it's already gone, finished. And by the time I finish speaking now, it's already, which in yoga is related to the Om, this divine sound, which I like to call human design-wise the or the this Om, which people try to mentally chant. Mentally, they use the physical body, Om, but they chant it. And this is also, I went to it several times, depending with whom. If you speak the yoga world, okay, or the chanting, I'll go the Om, or whatever kind of your language, I see how it impacts or penetrates me. And then I bring something. And understanding is being shattered. And it doesn't understand the unknown. Yeah, but it tries, it repeats itself, it repeats, and it repeats through the questions. We're now in this cross of consciousness week. So it tries to be logic and undermine the doubt it has about even unknown, because it seems like more and more unknown time. Yeah, with what do you mean you don't know? But you do remember. Then it goes confusion and all this stuff. Where you slept? Where did you sleep yesterday? I don't know. And memory tells something, and it's not about like that. It's just watching through that. Again, the mind wants what the mind wants, and it's total control over what's happening here, total security about what's happening here. And it keeps in the loop of questions and answers, questions and answers, question, answers, expression. Yeah? It's kind of reversing the XIO somehow, mixing it. Input, output, input, or maybe input, process, and expression. And I'm kind of talking about a different XIO, where it seems really the body is making its thing in the movement, and then kind of the decisions are being made. You see how your body is being navigated by the body and its interactions, and how the mind sees life, speaks about it, and different letters, because we can, and like what I speak about also the A, and that within this framework first you be, and then you see. And then it comes back to the A, to the juxtaposition of them, of the being. And the seeing. And yes, some would prefer to say seeing, but well, that's the English language. And then, hey, look again. It's the combination of both. It's the combination of both through the magnetic monopole. Hey, A. Yeah? You might want to prefer maybe to draw the letter, but then BHC, it's a bit different. Hey. There are many ways to kind of distract, and I can speak about in the hey is the fifth letter and representing God. So this holy combination of the design and personality through the magnetic monopole. But maybe on another time. At the moment I'll keep it with the XIO I don't know. With you, you're the first one to get it like that. It was actually meant for you. I addressed it to you. I'm the first and best viewer of myself, and you're the best viewer of yourself. And within your context of putting things into the Maya through language, whether we'll go with a simple aspect, and whoever takes them, and not very few, and not very much. Yeah, this individual leadership. Yeah, the inspiring leadership, very few people go after that. It's about knowing or unknowing. Yeah. More people go when the pattern is safe, when the language is safe. XIO I don't know is relatively unfamiliar, unknown. People will ask, what is it? Of course, it's XIO, I don't know. And again and again. And logic has its relative patience once it's secure to repeat it. You have the patience to repeat it, not as a condition generator, what we've spoken about, but the pattern is safe. I can see it within you. That's it, the pattern. And then it's left to see as a projected element whoever takes it. XIO, I don't know. Again, even if this drops and you invent something else and you say whatever, your thing is, like, we went from, you went with Y body, and it was not clear for you, you went to N body, or maybe again to whatever that case, because it seems like this is kind of a trail in the past, maybe even this name. And it's really one by one by one. Yeah, I went through this path, and some of the people, I still have their chart. I'm not. I don't know if I'm Yaniv Ginton anymore. I don't know even if. Yeah, who are you? I don't know. I don't know. It's just shapes changing, and then I can call them and can put any name on that. Sleeping Phoenix. It will change the story. Yaniv Ginton, mystery do not know. Who are you? Born 19th February, 1984. And really, one by one, as I mentioned, I met on this path. I still have the designs of, okay, Gaia Arielu introduced me to human design, and she used in Hebrew it was actually Astrategia Samchut Pnimit, which is strategy, inner authority, and the outer authority just leave aside, just shut up in the beginning. Yeah. And actually sleeping alone, which is nice because it's sleeping alone, which is the SNA, which is just combining the strategy and inner authority, but for those who like languages and how it's actually the SNA, strategy and inner authority, sleeping alone. If people want to convey it in the, yeah, it's actually basically SNA, 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 SNA. Strategy and authority, strategy and sleeping alone. Yeah. Sleep alone after you follow your strategy and inner authority. And it was a strategy and authority, which is clear that, at least in this point, that you don't follow your outer authority, but you follow your inner. And I can tell stories like this already for years. This is just 1 hour, many, many hours of that. Guy Ariel introduced me to that. From far kind of initiated me to that through a simple formula which Raoul brought. This design is kind of for something else rather than repetition. Managing the story, and as I mentioned, I had support from her during the period where I needed something else to enter to the energy of my distorted emotional and mental realm. And then I met Bar, who is now into the human design, and I brought what I can after I was 1 hour and more silent in this manifester, and one by one, and she caught it and he took her on her trip. And then I also met really few, because I met many, many other charts. A sleeping phoenix like me, and it was clear through the yoga she got the Om. This Om that is basically first based on strategy and authority, or inner authority. Inner authority. This clear. And when the sound is there, you don't go back. or later on the reflector, that really few people, where it was okay. Even here through the Hebrew, it was אסטרטגיה סמכות פנימית. It's really just as described. I watch it, what Ra describes, and it gets my mind to believe in what Ra is saying. He said one-on-one, and I see a one-on-one in 5 years, 6, 7 years now. Human design, I don't know, meditation, whatever is different is really going slowly to people. And most of them just don't get it. And here the lunar cycle and whatever it was through human design. And again, most of the people didn't get, I don't know, meditation until I met the millionaire, Valerie, and then, okay, she got that. It was, אני לא יודעת מדיטציה, I don't know, and I had a chance through that, to watch how it is when someone answers, I don't know, and gets rid of the open questions in his life. And not just the open questions, but getting the mind to decide on the answer to that. And then after you go through that, you can go back to answering whatever, and you can compare. You can see how the mind distorted you. It's clear. I'm with no questions anymore. And after this, okay, next person. Maybe it was for a moment, yeah, there were few, but now it's getting, regardless of wherever it takes, this XIO I don't know. It's so clear. And it's clear for you, and it hooked up on your logic aspect. That's it. Pattern is secure. Now it's only the repetition of it, even mentally, even as a guiding principle. And watching in this constellation, after I went through a manifesting generator, because I've had many others, I took in many others, but they got stuck on something else, which was completely not on my continuous fractal. To measure that, hey, they really had a change. They're really not afraid of honing to another pattern. And then, which is their own pattern. And here it's clear that for me, when you take the I don't know here, and how it comes into this, again, it's not just with the open head, but mainly, this was my experience. Now I'm happy to meet defined heads or defined solar plexus who take the I don't know meditation and experience that, what it does to them. Because for me it's clear in human design terms that when you answer that, or I don't know, all your openness surfaces. You want to be available to answering that. Yeah, you want to get rid of the pressure, so you answer and you blurt something that's got nothing to do with expressing a logical mind. Or got nothing to do with expressing a financial throat, a powerful tribal throat. So I don't know, meditation addresses there. And then the buzz system of, hey, just speak your voices. And you'll get a buzz whenever you're not speaking your voices and you try to speak the mind. Let alone with the reflector, yeah. But it's challenging to really take the I don't know meditation, because the mind is based on these open questions. You see it, and whoever doesn't see it. And my mind would like to ask, what to do? I don't know. Speak another for myself, another one hour and maybe a half soon. Yeah? And then you see how the openness inflicts you, whether it's with this defined throat. And then you get rid of the questions, you get rid of the answers, and you are really aligned, again, based on the XIO, based on your movement in life, on expressing your very own specific voices, or the shut up voices, open throat mainly, and then really inconsistently being conditioned to the open throat. That's another story. Then you speak through the XIO, I don't know, without the mind getting caught in, hey, conversation cannot happen if we don't ask questions and we don't answer. We don't process it for output that is relevant to the question. That's not how it works, how I experience it to work. And if you get rid of it, you see how it owns to the specific, especially the specific voices that's related, that takes it out of the mind. Yeah. Whether it's here the specific manifestor moving expression, or not moving, if it's not time to move from emotions, or it's not time for the change, it's not time for manifesting material, and it's not, or again, awakening or not. Again, I had one chance with that, wasn't when I don't know, meditation was so established through this open head. But it was clear because we went to at least the yes no questions, so the open questions were out of the question. You think them, and that's it. You just think them, and you get an answer to them. And then you prepare it for expression, and someone else will steal the glory. And it's challenging for, hey, I thought all of this known, unknown territory, and someone else steals my voice? Yeah, how mind works, yeah, it's fantastic. Again, I don't know, meditation shows it, because the questions and the answers are related to the openness, and trying to prove that you can assimilate, and trying to prove that you can be relieve the nervousness as soon as possible by assimilating things, and related to even how you answer. If you're being asked, what do you do? Where do you want to go? Who are you? Then you blurt something often that is really related to the openness. Very few people are watching through this lens. This is what I've noticed. And it's okay. It's whatever my version is the best version I can get. And this is just for my own entertainment. Next time the mind would like to say again, hey, when's the next time you'll make up another recording? Because we were bored before, and now it was great for you, and maybe you upload it, maybe, Mind. I keep watching this white lens. Even with human design language, I can barely speak with people, because for somehow maybe vanity of my own mind, my own ego, I don't give a damn about people inside, internally, physically, if they kind of on my way, and it's especially kind of not self, bound to deal with this stupidity. Again, eventually also seeing who is disturbed from being stupid. So maybe next time I'll see if it's going to be around the individuality, and or continuing whatever journey will come there, because it's really time, as I see, for I don't know. And I really see how both my mind, how I experience that and interpret that, is not pleased with that. Is really not pleased that I actually don't know what is happening, except experiencing it, taking it in, and moment by moment, especially when it's tagged to the negativity. Whatever mind is tagging as negative, as I want to change it even. And it's just seems to be accumulating more and more, being more dominant, this I don't know, that even maybe the XIO is being put aside. But it's still already within me, so I really bring this main thing to people, along with other things, but Yeah, the relation again to I don't know, that's also to emotional people that shared with me that as long as they're not clear, they don't know, and they feel comfortable with that. Especially again, I don't know, and the questions, and with open G, who are you, and even pressuring you to speak when you're being asked. So you at least say I don't know, and or you hold on to things, or you're available, or pressure, or you try to prove, whatever your openness is. It's just kind of a nice distraction. And this is, the distractions for me. I meet very few people on my path. It's, I guess, I don't know why. I really don't. Mine would probably tell a story about it, but it's really one by one. And so far on my list, I have my mom, who went a little bit into human design, and really not into, meditation. It's challenging for the mind, which we have your mom manifester. She's okay with me, at least in my meditation, and not pressuring me for that mentally and emotionally. And another manifestor on the path, winter path, challenging / impossible to take the meditation. It's a manifesting generator. I really like to see how it really went one by one, and that at least you got the XIO, this basic aspect, and then you're relieved of many things in the mind. This luxury to think. MG Sleeping Phoenix. Really, this is 6 years into human design, and I can just mark very few people a reflector on my path that took in how I interpret at least the XIO, the strategy in inner authority. It's really a very different eventually how the outer authority goes, and that's also Russ spoke about it, to really get the personality to speak its own voices, to see what it's here to see. It's really fantastic journey. And then the fifth aspect with the money maker of breath, Valerie, and now you, that I started counting on another hand. There were others on the way, there were others who played along a little bit with strategy and authority, but for you it seems really in your name, pleasant, and you take it in, regardless of what I say. This is the thing with this period, and still with formulas and logic aspects, and it's almost like I cannot judge all of that. Once you take it, you take it. I keep judging, especially what comes out as an outer authority. But that's it, you watch. And maybe when you watch the Umbrella Academy, so we had number 1, we had number 2, we had number 3, 4, or at least how I watched it. Now coming number 6, beginning with clear cut of XIO, I don't know. And it's really just enough to get people to that. Really just enough. To get along the tedious daily life. My mind still bothers me. What we do with life? 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 Where is your next home? What we do with life? How do you contact this? What do you do? Not really like that, but sort of. So, and it's really somehow, I don't know if the word nice, or interesting, or to see people that really try that. Because it's, once they put on these clothes, it's just, transformation all over the place, and maybe that's the next quarter I will speak. transformation.